up, but we can quickly talk about other shit if we want.
Yeah, I'd love to, man, because there's so much going on this card. The first card of 2026, first card of the new Paramount deal, and we are finally back, baby. 6 weeks, feeling like a whole year. What a layoff, but we are finally back with DraftKings as well for another Insider Betting, the show where we give you guys our best picks and predictions. If you're new here, we're streaming on Twitch, X, YouTube, and Kick. So happy to be here. Happy to have you guys in here. We're going to break down the whole main card of the Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett in T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. I'm super excited for this card. I'm super excited that UFC is back. We do this show every Thursday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So happy to have you here. If you're new, just finding the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the content. I go live reacting to the fights, live watch parties every Saturday. So happy to be back. It's been a long time. How do you feel about this card? How do you feel that UFC is back? I'm super excited, man.
Man, it's been way too long. 6 weeks did feel like a year. We have a sick card to open up the year with. First Paramount card. I think the UFC is going to put out something special for it. A lot of big fights. Obviously, we got the title fight with Paddy and Justin Gaethje. But even on like the early prelims, you have a couple ranked fights. You know, Alex Perez, Charles Johnson. In the prelims, you got more ranked stuff. You got Nikita Krylov coming back to fight Modestas Bukauskas. Figgy is fighting Umar, which is a shock that it's not on the main card, even with Kayla and Amanda Nunes getting chopped out of it. You know, I think they were planning on having 6 cards on the main card, or 6 fights on the main card, and then they just didn't replace Kayla and Amanda. They just left it as is.
You're telling me we couldn't replace Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas with Umar and Figgy? Come on.
Seems crazy. Seems
a little weird, but whatever. Get the girls their spot.
But it's gonna be fun fights. You got Suga as the co-main. I don't know when the last time that happened. So yeah, we'll break it all down. I don't know if you want to go over any of the prelims fights. Oh, it's a sick little character. What are those called again?
PMI toys, man.
Exclusively
available at Walmart in the electronics and sports aisles. If you guys want to check them out, I got the OG set, so you can't really find those anymore. Real collectible stuff now. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll do a video tomorrow, just myself, kind of going live and going over the prelims and the early prelims on my takes, who I think is going to win compared to AI and who AI thinks is going to win. I think it would make for a good video. So I'm going to probably do that tomorrow. Then I'll be live on Saturday as well. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday streams. Hopefully I'll be hold myself accountable to that in the new year here. I'm super excited. Got my camera back working. You guys can see I look a little better now. I'm going to get my podcast mic set up. I'm actually getting a poster of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao from Vegas when they fought. It's going to look sick in the background, but yeah, really stepping up the setup, and we're going to step up the stream, step up the content in 2026. So make sure, again, go subscribe. Inside Fighting, guys.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, quick. There's only 3 fights on the prelims. Let's not break them all down, but I'm going to give you my quick takes. Nikita Krylov, Ateba, and Umar all getting dubs.
Oh, Nikita Krylov.
I'm back on him, man. I've been talking my shit every time he fights, but I want him. I want him to win. But Modestas he's a slight favorite. He's actually a much smaller favorite than I thought he would be. He's only minus 138. And I mean, his last one's against Paul Craig, so I mean that doesn't say much. But he does have he's on a tear. He's like
he's been on a tear.
4 or 5 win streak.
Yeah, and he looks better and better, and he's like a freak athlete, man. I saw this guy get a knockout in Seattle in the first round, does a backflip in the center of the cage. He's super explosive. I think he puts out the lights of Nikita Krylov, but a lot of people are on Nikita Krylov by submission, so it should be a tricky styles make fights. I'm excited for that one, but I do have to take Modestas Bukauskas by KO.
KO is the way for him. Nikita Krylov doesn't make it past the first round. He hasn't been able to do that since being back.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't put my money on that not reliable pick when a guy's got so much momentum, and just similar to a lot of the fights on this main card, when the guy's younger, got momentum, and he's fighting an older guy, not looking as good.
Yeah.
We'll see. I feel like I haven't looked through your notes completely, but I have a feeling we're going to be on the same page for a lot of these picks, man. I have watched a few other prediction shows, and it seems like the majority of people aren't taking any underdogs here. I'd be surprised if there are some big underdogs that hit. It's going to ruin a lot of parlays for sure, but we'll see what happens, man.
It only takes one to ruin a parlay. All right, let's get into some of these fights here on the main card. Let's pull this up. Bang, bang. We're ready to go. Opening up the main card, we got Arnold Allen taking on Jean Silva. This is Allen's first fight in about a year and a half, actually. His last fight was against Gaethje back in July of 2024. In his prime, Arnold Allen, he was a great fighter. A lot of people were talking about title contention, but injuries kind of fucked him. He's been out on the sidelines for a while, so it's always interesting to see how they come back, but they don't usually come back too hot, which is why Jean Silva is a minus 265 favorite here. Jean Silva, on the other hand, he's been super active. No time off for this guy. Probably the most exciting fighter in the UFC from a fan's perspective, I think. He's got a lot of hype behind him. Obviously, a little bit of that hype died down in his last fight where he lost to Diego Lopez. But you know what? I always say that these undefeated fighters, they got to go through a loss before they become true champion contenders. And you know what? Diego Lopez, he's a great fighter. I don't look at Diego Lopez as like a true champion contender. He's already lost to Volk once. I feel like he's going to lose again. But yeah, it's a little weird in the division. You know, up until Ilya left, I was like, Diego has got no chance, you know? So obviously there's a bit of a chance Volk's getting older, but I've never been too hot on Diego. But anyway, we're here to talk about Jean Silva and Arnold Allen. So yeah, Diego Lopez, first true test for Jean Silva. Arnold Allen, probably you can slot him in right at number 2. He's kind of, he gives like Bryce Mitchell vibes when Jean Silva fought him. You know, Bryce has been kind of not doing too hot. Jean Silva comes in, they're like, oh, first true test, but then he subs him out, you know, which like nobody expected him to do. Arnold Allen, people are like, oh, this is going to be another true test. He hasn't fought in a year and a half. He's going to be rusty, and I think it's going to be a time for Jean Silva to turn it around. It's going to be interesting to see how he fights after getting knocked out. Sometimes guys come a little reserved, a little too scared to take that step to try and finish the fight. I don't think Jean Silva is that guy. I think he's going to be regular Jean Silva. I think he's going to be hyped. I think he's going to come out hot, and I think he's going to get the win. So that's my take here.
Yeah, I don't have much.
And by KO, but he's never been KO'd before, so it's a little fishy. But
you have the Silva Arnold, KO?
Huh?
You have the Silva KO. I like that.
I know it's dangerous. Arnold Allen's never been knocked out, but I don't know if Arnold Allen's ever had a year and a half gap where he hasn't fought. So give me Jean by knockout.
The way Jean Silva fights, it's just you are rooting for the knockout. He reaches these flow states, and he just looks so good. He really puts the hammer to the nail. I think Arnold Allen will be the nail in this spot. This is a fight of 2 autistic fighters on the UFC roster. Jean Silva recently took an autism test, tested positive. Arnold Allen is the quiet, kind of weird kid, autistic guy. So this is fun. This is an interesting matchup. When this fight got announced, I was like, this one's just going to be a crazy brawl. I don't see either of these guys using their wrestling, although I do think Arnold Allen would be smart to kind of try and shoot some takedowns and slow down the pace of Jean Silva, because he does, like I just mentioned, reach these flow states where he just looks unstoppable, unbeatable. Even in that second round against Diego Lopez, I thought there was a chance Diego Lopez was going to put out the light. I mean, Jean Silva was going to put out the lights of Lopez, but unfortunately, Lopez landed an elbow, got the ground and pound, and Jean Silva looked completely different after that fight. So maybe the damage from Jean Silva's last fight is enough for Arnold Allen to kind of hurt him, stun him, and be competitive in this fight. But I don't have much to say about Arnold Allen. Like you said, Yeah, he looked good in his peak. People were talking about him to be in title contention, but he's just not at his peak here. He hasn't fought in forever. Um, it's going to be interesting to see where he is at. I'm sure he puts a lot of pressure on himself right now to prove that he is that version that we're talking about. He can still be that, but I just don't think he's going to prove that against somebody as good of counter striker of Gene Silva, with the power of Gene Silva, with the speed. He can mix it up with the kicks as well. I just see Gene Silva doing the more damage consistently round to round. I'd like to see him get the knockout. There's nothing more exciting than cheering for a Gene Silva knockout. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this spot. And I think it is the better pick. So give me Gene Silva, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I see we're popping off on X right now. A lot more viewers on there than we typically get. So let us know if you think we're wrong in the chat.
Let's go. I'd also say in this fight, it is kind of interesting. We could be, like you said, it's a little weird of a division in the featherweight division right now. If Gene Silva puts on a crazy first round knockout here, Diego Lopez beats Alexander Volkanovski, we could be seeing an instant rematch, Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva for the title, which leaves so many people up in the air like Movzar, Aljamain Sterling, Lerone Murphy undefeated. And we're just going to see rematches with Gene Silva, Diego Lopez, Volk, Diego Lopez. When there's so many true contenders, it's just kind of interesting how this division's playing out.
Yeah, it's a weird division. Like, they got 2 top 5 guys that they don't want to give any fights to. They got Movzar. Well, you can even count Aljo in there. Evloev, no fan. No one's a fan. Nobody wants to see him fight. Lerone Murphy, boring as shit. He's got the UK behind him, but like, the UFC is probably going to give Lerone a chance before Evloev, even though that's wrong. But we'll see what happens. It's an interesting division for sure.
Like, could you even imagine they give Kevin Vallejos like a Lerone Murphy or somebody super up there, Aljamain Sterling, and he sets himself up for a rematch against Gene Silva before some of these other guys get a title shot? It's just like, the UFC really is a business, and in this division specifically, you really see that. Like, they really are shooting some of those guys up for the title over other guys.
Yeah. The best thing for the featherweight division is for Gene Silva and Kevin Vallejos to be who we think they are. That those guys are like the future of the division, really. So
agreed
yeah,
completely,
like,
brother.
they're so fun to watch. But anyway, next up, we got Snooze Fest. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas.
Yo, you're doing water break? You're doing snack break during this one?
Yeah, I think so. A little smoke break. We've been ripping packs lately. We've been into to some Pokemon cards. I want to get some Topps UFC cards, but those are hard to come by. But
don't make me, man. Don't make me.
Dude, there we go. So that's
bro.
I'm ripping packs during that fight for sure. But anyway, Natalia Silva, she's 7-0 in the UFC at the moment. She's on a 13 fight win streak. My bad. She didn't really have any impressive wins up until recently, but in her last 3 fights, she's beaten Alexa Grasso, Jessica Andrade, Vivian Araujo, which have all been solid wins, all by decision, all a little boring, but a win's a win. She really is next up for the title here. She's obviously ranked number 2 in the division, but yeah, she's extremely well-rounded. She does a great job keeping the fight on her feet, but if she wants, she can use some offensive takedowns. She's got the Brazilian background, obviously. So sometimes you'll see her wrestle, sometimes you'll see her go to the ground, but very rarely, because she doesn't really need to. She's quick on her feet, able to keep a distance and close it when she needs to. Rose Namajunas, on the other hand, she's coming off of a good bounce back win against Miranda Maverick after losing to Erin Blanchfield in Edmonton in November of 2024, a fight that I was at. But yeah, Rose, she's got that dog in her, which makes a lot of us love her. And originally, she was actually supposed to fight Alexa Grasso, who Natalia Silva just beat. And I feel like this might be a bit of a hot take because there's a lot of Alexa Grasso fans, but I feel like Natalia Silva is a harder matchup.
Way harder.
I agree. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I feel like there's a lot of Alexa Grasso fans who will just ride her because she was former champ. But Anyway, it's a tough one for Rose. She's also well-rounded. Arguably even a little bit more. You know, her wrestling is better. Her takedowns are better. She can fight on the ground a little bit better. But I don't think she's getting Natalia to the ground. I think if Rose tries to take Natalia to the ground, the fight's over. That means that Rose is frustrated on her feet. She doesn't really know what to do. So then she's going for the takedowns. And Natalia Silva's got 92% takedown defense. So I just don't think she's going to the ground. There's always a chance with Rose. We've always counted her out in a lot of fights. No one thought she was going to be a champion. She became the champion. Obviously, she's moved up a weight class. So this is a little bit tougher for her because I feel like she was already small in the previous weight class. But yeah, I got Natalia Silva. Enough about this fight.
I agree
by a boring unanimous decision, 30-27.
Yeah, I do think that Rose has to put on the pace, has to be the one walking her down, has to get her up against the cage, has to kind of expose her. I'm sure that Rose has the experience, right, to what she has great coaches to where they're studying Natalia Silva's film and trying to find holes in her game. So maybe there's a chance that she found something and exposes that in this fight. And for her being this big of an underdog, I could see some people playing this as kind of just a single play underdog. Don't put Natalia Silva on the parlay, kind of fade it. I'm putting Natalia Silva on my parlay because I do believe in her skill set. She is number 2 in the division. She looks better and better. She's undefeated, 5-0 in her last 5. Just looks great. And she's going to be a little bit bigger. Rose is typically a 115er, so she fights a division smaller. That's where she was champion. That's where she beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I'm so bad with names. She beat Weili Zhang. She's really good. She's beating the best, most notable names in that division. So people got to give her flowers. Thug Rose is still competing. She's still just beat Miranda Maverick, who is a great competitor, who a lot of people thought Miranda Maverick could be next up in that division as well. So she's really good. It's not somebody you want to count out, especially with the experience. But I probably would have taken her against Alexa Grasso, but Natalia Silva is just a different level of striking. And also Rose Namajunas, she has those off nights. Like she lost her title to Carla Esparza in the most boring fight in the UFC history, arguably over Izzy and Yoel Romero. It was just the most boring fight ever. If she actually put the pressure on, she could have just won that fight. She's got to walk her down. She's got to hit Natalia Silva in the face. But Natalia Silva is so tricky, so sharp, great counter striker. I think she's going to be too fast and too strong, a little bit bigger than Rose in this fight. And she's going to call her shot for the title next. And I think she deserves it. Give me Natalia Silva. Money line. I like the unanimous decision there. I also think that she could find a finish. But we'll see. I've just taken the money line here on my parlay. So
nice. For the feature fight of the night, we got Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Derek Lewis. First things first, this should be an absolute banger. Probably the most exciting fight of the night, I think. Yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta, we've been talking about him a lot lately because I think he's been the most active. If he's not the most, he's tied for the most probably in being the most active fighter in 2025 in the UFC. We saw him fight 5 times. In those 5, he went 4-1, finishing 3 of them by knockout, and then he had a decision win and a decision loss in there as well. And sorry, before I keep going, I think Waldo Cortez Acosta might get another 5 fights in 2026. Like it's already January and we're gonna get our first one through the door. But we'll see how it keeps going.
Oh, could you imagine an active UFC heavyweight champion? I can't even imagine that.
I don't know what that looks like.
I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it's Waldo.
Yeah, he's fighting against Derek. My balls are hot. Lewis. That should be how Bruce announces him.
The Black Beast.
Black Beast. But anyway, we all know him. We all love him. He's got the best outros in the UFC probably every time. He's got something different to say. But he wasn't as active in 2025. He only fought once. He did win it by TKO against Taliesin Teixeira. And And yeah, I mean, overall, this fight's probably going to finish by knockout, just looking at these guys' records. If you take their last 2 fights each, all 4 have been by knockout. And that typically means that anyone can win, especially in the heavyweight division. But Derek Lewis is 40 now, slowing down, even though he's got that last win. Waldo Cortez Acosta, I know he's got that loss against Sergey Pavlovich, but so does Derek Lewis. And I think he's just heating up. I think, again, you got to go through some losses to get up there. Waldo did that. I think he's going to get this fight. I think he's going to get a win this fight. And yeah, I've been hammering him every time he fights. So like, I'm not going to stop now.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how many times we picked Waldo this past year in his 5 fights, but this
probably
I'm sure
5.
We picked them all 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hot on Derek Lewis against Talison Teixeira in his last fight as a 3-1 underdog, a bigger underdog than he was there than he is here, which is a little bit surprising because I do think Waldo is way better than Talison Teixeira. But Teixeira is going to be fighting Tai Tuivasa. I know Tai is one of your guys. That fight's coming up soon, I think.
Love that.
Which is exciting to see Tai Tuivasa back in the division. But Waldo Cortez Acosta, this is his 6th fight into the 12-month calendar year. But typically I'd say like an active fighter who's way too active, it's a little scary to put your money on him. Maybe he's fighting injuries and stuff, but he seems to be healthy. We just had him on Inside Fighting recently, catching up with James Lynch. You guys can check out that full interview on Inside Fighting's YouTube. Subscribe. I like Waldo here. Derek Lewis, I'm sorry. I still want to see him fight on the White House card. I just don't think he gets it done against somebody who I think will be in title contention very, very soon. I'd like Waldo to win by knockout, but I do think there's a world where Derek Lewis gets hit really hard. He sells that he's getting knocked out. He's not actually getting knocked out, and he comes back with the cheap shot and hits Waldo and knocks him out. Derek Lewis is also trolling in his media saying that he trains eye pokes, he trains the dirty shots, the kicks to the balls and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a foul here from Derek Lewis and the fans start booing him, but he always gets the fans back on his side somehow, some way. But I do think the script, as Derek Lewis would say in this fight, is Waldo Cortez Acosta winning by knockout. I'd like to take him in round 1, round 2. I think that's the plays I'm going to be going here with. Round 1 knockout or round 2 knockout. It's just, he's so exciting to watch. And like I said with the activity thing, it's not a factor here with Waldo. He got a knockout win after getting eye poked and then fought literally a week later. So there's no concern here. He's had time to prepare for this one, rest up. He's going to be good. Even though this is Derek Lewis's best shape he's ever been in his whole life, I don't think that matters at all. He's on some UFC peptides, and everyone's conspiracy around the fact that Derek Lewis is this healthy, super fit guy. He's still Derek Lewis, guys. Yes, there's the chance he gets the knockout. I just wouldn't put my money on it. Give me Waldo Cortez Acosta. I do think he should be in title contention after this one. When I broke down this fight the first time, I was like, this is a possible title contender matchup. Obviously, there's other guys above him, but I do think he can skip the line here with a first-round knockout over the beast, Derek Lewis. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm putting my money on. Give me Waldo.
Nice. Yeah, no, we're 3 for 3 so far on the same page. Mm-hmm. For the co-main event, we got Sugar Sean taking on Song Yadong, or Yadong Song, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, we've never been able to say this before, but Sean is on a 2-fight losing streak. First 2 losses, if you ask Sean. And really, if you really ask Sean, he'll tell you the only loss was last fight. So he's on a 1-fight losing streak. But yeah, he lost both of them to Merab, obviously, both title fights. But now that Piotr Yan is the champion, anything's possible. It feels like the division opened up again, which is kind of dope to see. I'm just noticing this right now in the graphic. It says heavyweight. That's my bad. Should say bantamweight.
Sean is a true heavyweight. That's
clearly a copy and paste error. I bet you I did that on the next fight as well, but we'll see what's up. But yeah, I love this matchup for Sean. No more worrying about takedowns. We got two strikers going at it. I love Sean. He's been losing me a lot of money recently, and I can't wait for him to make me money again.
I know. Me too.
So I'm excited for this fight. I don't got much to say. I'm going with Sean. I think Sean is still as good of a striker as we thought, as like we've seen him to be, as we thought he was. It was just obviously two unfavorable matchups in the like stylistically when he fought against Merab. So yeah, I think we're gonna see classic Sugar Sean. Give me Sean by KO. I want to see some knockouts.
I really hope we do see classic Sean O'Malley in this one. It kind of sucks that we won't see the classic Sean O'Malley who's smoking weed, effing a bunch of different girls than his wife, playing video games. He kind of quit all of that out after his loss to Merab to really dial in. It didn't seem to work. He switched his walkout music. Everything that kind of makes Sean the guy that he was changed after that loss, which is sad. I hope he comes out to the "If you are what you say you are, a superstar." I really hope he walks out to that. If he doesn't, I'm going to be feeling really freaking scared about my parlay, but I'm taking Sean too. What I'd say about Song Yadong is he fought his last 5 fights were 5-round fights. He could be a guy who puts himself into title contention, not against Sean, though. Not against Sean. Maybe if he was fighting Figgy or one of these other guys, he would look a little better. Give him Ayman Zahabi next. Don't think he gets it done here against Sean. I was there in Seattle when he won against Henry Cejudo. He has a crazy good technique. It kind of looks like this. He just goes like this. I don't know. It's a good technique. A lot of UFC fighters are using it now. Just go right for the eye. So he has that technique. Sean's got to stay locked in about that. He even brought up to the Sugar Sean Athletic Committee that he wants to talk to the UFC about wearing some goggles for this fight, but I don't think they're going to get that passed through. The loser of this fight, they shook on it, has to change their last name. So we could see Sean O'Malley turn to Sean Yadong or Song Yadong to Song O'Malley. I think that's pretty funny. I love Sean here. I hope he puts on the performance of the night. I hope he puts himself back into title contention and gets that shot against Peter for the rematch at the White House. I don't want to see him lose here. And then we're talking about Umar and Figgy, the winner of that one, for the next title shot, or Merab. I want Sean to cement himself as the next contender, but he needs to have a big win here to do it. So give me Sean. I even have him winning by knockout. But I think he pieces him up. He should be too fast, too quick. Give me a classic Sugar Sean O'Malley performance. The Sugar Show is back. Fingers crossed. Sugar time, baby.
Yeah. I didn't know about that handshake bet. That's kind of dope. Song Yadong kind of hits.
Yeah. Song Yadong if he loses.
Yeah, I like
Sean
that.
Yadong.
I kind of want him to lose just for that. I'm not going to lie.
And he keeps saying that he needs to stiffen Yadong in this one. That's his kind of...
That's been his thing, eh?
Yeah, he needs to beat Yadong bad.
But
Yadong is super explosive. Yadong is explosive, so you got to remember that.
But yeah, Sean's gonna have a media day with this fucking.
Yeah, I mean, the press conference is right after this live, so go watch the UFC press conference after this. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, well, before we go into the main event over here, damn, bro, I don't know which one this is. I got so many in here.
You guys about that money? You guys about making that money on Saturday? DraftKings got you covered, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You mind pulling it up? I don't know which one it is. I got like 6 in here.
Yeah. I got to clean that up a little bit. Shout out to DraftKings. We love you guys. They got a great offer for you guys. Go check this out. Shout out DraftKings. Hey, Inside Fighting, the wait is finally over. The UFC is back this weekend, and we're back partnering with our friends over at DraftKings to bring you closer to all the action. Right now, if you're a new customer, go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You can sign up using our promo code Inside Fighting. Bet $5 and you'll receive $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Again, that's for new customers. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, bet $5 and you'll receive $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's only at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Yes, sir. Good to be back.
Damn.
DraftKings, man. And to all y'all who say I don't look at y'all, I know y'all saw me without the hat. I know y'all saw me without the hat on.
I was just gonna say, Cope no hat. God
Yes,
damn,
sir.
we haven't
Yes,
seen that
sir.
ever. I don't think.
Special for
Come on,
DraftKings. Come on, man.
anything for DraftKings.
If
Anything
you
for
could do a quick
DK.
moment of silence here. Kayla Harrison, obviously, Amanda Nunes, that fight did not happen. Kind of really unfortunate news. Kayla Harrison had to get a neck surgery. Really scary with those wrestlers landing on their neck wrong. Apparently, her doctor, Alia D, said that like it could have been like really bad, like paralyzed bad. So just praying for her that she gets healthy and comes back stronger, better version of herself. But that's really upsetting that fight didn't happen. Could have been the main card. You were saying that fight should have been the main event of this card. So a really big fight with her and Amanda Nunes that didn't happen. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah. And before I get hate for saying that Kayla versus Amanda should have been the main event over this fight over here, you just have to take context. You know, you have the female GOAT versus someone who could potentially be the female GOAT if she kept her UFC career longer, versus Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. Now, don't get me wrong, this fight way more exciting, but context matters. This title fight makes no sense, like zero.
Well, you don't think the GOAT?
It's not even that. I don't think Paddy deserves to fight for the title, period. You have let's run it. Let's run it, okay? You got
one of
Justin
the easier,
Gaethje.
yeah, easier paths to the title. We could say that. Yeah.
Easier,
probably one of the easiest. Yeah, top 5, top 3.
It shouldn't even be a path to the title, bro. This should not even be allowed. Here, this is how it works, okay? You got Justin Gaethje, 3 wins in his last 5. 2 of them against the same guy, Rafael Fiziev. The second time he fought him was after like a year-plus layoff because he tore his ACL, and then you beat him. Oh, wow, good shit. That gets you a title fight because you told the UFC you're going to retire if you don't get it. Crazy. I get Justin Gaethje, legend of the sport. It still doesn't make sense to give him a title fight. But you know what? I'll give him a pass because he's a legend. Okay? So you can say Justin Gaethje, put him in this title fight because this might be his retirement fight. Okay? Then you got Paddy Pimblett. You want to hear his road? He beat Tony Ferguson, who was on a 6-fight losing streak when fighting Paddy. He's got even more losses now. I think he's like 9-fight losing streak at this point. You got
Misfits champion, Misfits boxing champion.
You're right. My bad. I didn't know that gets you a UFC title shot. Then you got Bobby Green, King Green, my bad, who has 2 wins in his last 5. One against Jim Miller, who's about 74 years old at this point. And the other fight, or the other win, was against a guy making his debut in the UFC. So that's Paddy's 2nd win on the road to the title shot. And then his most recent win is against Michael Chandler, a guy who is literally 2-7. Or sorry, not even 2-7. He's got 2 wins in 7 fights in the UFC. How does that get you a title shot? You didn't face any like real contenders. It's absolutely bizarre. It makes no sense. You're giving these 2 guys title fights over. Honestly, you can fucking toss Charles Oliveira in the mix. He deserves it more. Max Holloway, he deserves it more. Arman Tsarukyan, I know he fucked up breaking his back and not making weight, whatever it was against Islam. But he beats everyone he fights, basically. But no, Paddy deserves the title fight. So whatever. I get it. It gets the UFC a little bit more money. Paddy is a fan favorite. But, I mean, you're just delegitimizing everything the UFC is built on. You'd see Dana in interviews talking about UFC versus boxing. UFC has like some sort of what's it called? There's a ladder you got to climb. It's all pre-built for you. You know your top 15. There isn't a million different companies or a million different hands trying to control which fights happen. It's the best fighters in the world fighting against each other. And for you to put number 4 and number 5 for an interim title when 1, 2, and 3 are all available to fight is crazy. What's Arman doing? he's just going on live streams now because he's bored. He's like, if the UFC isn't going to give me a title fight, why would I fight? I deserve it more than anyone else, right? So yeah, I think it's really bad looks for the UFC when you've built your brand on the best fighters fighting the best fighters for the titles, and these guys are two of the best, but they're not the two best. You know what I'm saying? So
totally agree. Can I counter your point very quickly before you break this down? I think Paddy Pimblett is the second biggest star in the UFC right now behind Ilia Topuria. So them potentially setting up a biggest star versus biggest star at the White House potentially could sell. Justin Gaethje being an American fighter, if he wins here somehow, some way, American fighter in the headlining spot at the UFC White House against Ilia Topuria will also sell. So I think they just had the bigger picture here in mind. They didn't want Armin headlining the UFC White House. They didn't want those fights. I think they already booked Charles and Max as a headliner fight for another pay-per-view. So there's that. Also, somebody who had an easier path to the title, Steve Erceg. How the fuck did he get that title shot? He didn't do anything either. Paddy Pimblett's actually looking incredible in these performances. Even though his opponent's washed, you have to go off of their performances. He's looked really, really, really good. That's why he's favorited here against somebody who has 14 bonuses in the UFC, Justin Gaethje, legend of the sport, and somehow everybody is against them in this spot. So it does make for a good main event.
And you know what? And I agree with that. From a business perspective, this fight makes a ton of sense. From a fighting perspective, it just doesn't. And you're right. Steve Erceg also shouldn't have gotten the title shot. 100% right. There's been a few that like didn't make sense recently. Like you've had Steve Erceg, Pantoja. You had Islam moving up for double champ, which like kind of made sense, but kind of didn't. You had Ilia moving up for double champ, kind of made sense, kind of didn't. You know, so there's a lot of like weird fights that have been made recently that didn't make a bunch of sense. Even Diego Lopez Volk, number 2.
Yes.
I don't really understand it, you know? Yeah. But this one just feels like a stretch. It really does, you know? But I agree with you. And Steve Erceg, to go back to that one, the only reason he got a title shot wasn't because he was the best choice. It was because Pantoja beat everyone else. And they just didn't want to have any like rematches, right? So
we do need to see the UFC book the fights the fans want, like the number 1 versus number 2 pound for pound guys, Ilia versus Islam. That fight needs to happen, and it's just kind of floating in the universe, and we never know if it's actually going to happen. But then we get Hulk versus Diego 2, and we get Paddy versus Justin for the interim title, and we're just like, what the fuck, UFC? Do you even know what you're doing? But
but you know what? It doesn't matter because this fight's going to be a fucking banger anyway. Like it's still going to be a super fun fight to watch. Justin Gaethje is one of the hardest fighters to finish in the UFC. Paddy Pimblett, he's probably going to try to go for the finish. And if not, then he'll probably win by decision. Yeah, I got Paddy all the way. The only way for Justin to win is just to land a couple fucking crazy shots to get him to win here. And could that happen? 100% it could happen. Will it happen? I'll give it like a 1 in 10 chance, you know? Like it's very unlikely. Yeah, Paddy's IQ's too high, you know?
Yeah, I like if there's a universe where Justin Gaethje gets a huge knockout and does a backflip off the cage and beats Ilia Topuria and gets his revenge match against Max and wins and retires on this crazy trajectory, that would be insane. But he hasn't looked too good in title fights in the past, so this one a little tricky. Obviously, I'm going to take the younger guy with the more momentum, who's also just really beating him in the media in this lead up to this fight, I believe, because he's saying, I have so many ways I could finish this guy. I know that what is coming my way. He's looking at him kind of like how he fought Michael Chandler, but he thinks he can finish him in more devastating fashion. So nobody's taking this spot away from Paddy Pimblett. Nobody's taking this opportunity away from him. It's not going to be Justin Gaethje. No sharp play underdog here. I'm surprised the odds are as close as they are. I think this could be even more spread, but give the credit where credit's due. Justin Gaethje, 14 performance bonuses. So, I mean, not much more to say. What do you have to like? This one's going to be a brawl. but I see Paddy finishing him probably early on, probably second, third round. I don't think this sees championship rounds. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up right now. I like Justin Gaethje's obviously been finished before, but how much is the question, you know?
Mhm.
Let's see here. Let's see. Because yeah, it's gonna be a brawl. Early finish is kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, all of Justin Gaethje, I know, and I take all that back. All of Justin Gaethje's losses have been by finish. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I didn't know that. That's actually kind of a crazy stat.
That is
Um,
crazy.
yeah, he's been finished against Max Holloway by knockout, Charles Oliveira submission, Khabib submission, Poirier, Eddie Alvarez, both knockouts, and that's all 5 of his losses in the UFC or as a pro.
Have you ever
Really.
seen the clip of Justin Gaethje training with his like fat trainer, and the trainer like hit him with a body shot, and he just completely crumbled and like couldn't get
No,
up? And it's like, oh my god, I gotta send you that. It's like
that's
after
crazy.
watching some of these Justin Gaethje videos where he just looks like he's just a brawler, dude. At some points in fights, he just starts brawling, and Paddy is too sharp, too like these new gen fighters that are coming up, like Ian Gary and Paddy Pimblett. You don't want to bet against these guys. I swear, like they're proving it in their training and in their performances that they're just different. And I think Paddy is gonna steal the show. Be great on the mic. He's probably the greatest. Him and Sean O'Malley are probably the greatest fighters on the mic right now. I'd say that Paddy's probably better than Sean. Paddy being second to Conor McGregor, maybe ever on mic in the UFC. I think he's really good. And that's why they booked this fight. That's why they're giving him the shot. Why waste this opportunity and give him Arman Sarukian early? If he loses that, then you got Arman being champ, and it's like give Paddy his chance now. Let him defend against somebody really good like Ilya and Arman, and all these names on his record look really good to have. Tony, to have these guys, they're legends of the sport, right? So people
Yeah,
bring up the Josh Gordon fight. A lot of people don't think he won that, but this is a new
yeah,
level of Paddy, man. This is a new version, and I think he's going to have a crazy good performance, crazy good finish.
yeah. I just don't see a world where Paddy knocks out Gaethje. Like I see it happening by submission if there's a finish. You know, take him to the ground, make him tap. Like I see that happening.
Mm.
Gaethje just doesn't look, or sorry, Paddy just doesn't look like one of those like powerful. He doesn't look powerful enough to finish Justin. I know he's been knocked out a few times, but you look at who he's been knocked out against. He's been knocked out against Max Holloway, you know, who has 12 knockouts in his 27 wins, or otherwise he just wins by submission or by decision. You got Dustin Poirier, who's a heavy hitter, Eddie Alvarez, who's a heavy hitter, you know. I just don't see the knockout, but I see like a knockdown turned into submission, you know, but out cold, tough. But
Paddy's been vocal in his media. He's saying he's having visions. He's saying he's having visions of knocking him out in many different ways. So
yeah, we'll see what
also
happens. It'll
another
be
clip
exciting either way.
I gotta send you this other clip. It was Michael Chandler and Paddy having like a video kind of back and forth. And Michael Chandler's like, you don't have knuckles like these. And he shows him his knuckles and they're all beat up and big. And then Paddy just out of nowhere shows his knuckles and they're like 3 times the size of Michael Chandler's. So like, bro, he
Crazy.
has hands, bro. And the way Justin Gaethje wins this fight is pressure, knockout, putting the pace on Paddy and putting the pressure on him, getting the knockout. Scousers don't get knocked out. I even told you 6 weeks ago, I was like, I want to take Justin in this fight. No. I'm
No,
so
no,
off that.
no.
I am so off of that.
Yeah.
I even have Paddy by knockout in one of my parlays as the cherry on top. So I do believe that he finds the finish if it's sub or knockout. I don't think it sees the championship rounds. Unfortunate for Justin, but if he pulls off this kind of crazy underdog win here and goes and fights, headlines the White House and has this crazy end of his career, all credit to him and give him his flowers because he'll deserve it. But it could be a retirement here spot for Gaethje. If he gets knocked out early, we could see him putting down his gloves in the ring. I honestly see that.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it for today's episode of Insider Betting. I feel like we left it all on the table. Next week, the UFC decided to bless us 6 weeks off. Then they come back 2 pay-per-views in a row. Next week, we have a card. I think it's in Sydney. Australia.
Sounds right.
I think
Sounds
so.
right.
I
Yeah.
think so. Where Volk's taking on Diego Lopez for the main event for the title. It's their rematch fight. Co-main event, you got Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint Denis. You got Rafael Fiziev, who we talked about in this fight, taking on Mauricio Ruffy. Tai Tuivasa is fighting on Tyson Teixeira. Killian Saeed is fighting Zurong. So there's some good ass fights for sure to cover next week. So we'll be back Thursdays, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Cody's going to be live this Saturday, watching the fights live. Join his watch party. I think you said you're going to go live tomorrow and give a bit of a bigger breakdown of the.
Yeah, I'm just going to go over some of the prelims. Oh, we're going to make that bread, Sleazy Koopy. We going to make that bread on Saturday. Make sure you join the live.
Cody, we're
going to make that bread again? Yeah, we're going to make that bread. It seems like everybody's on the same page for the main event. But that's why I want to break down the prelims. Maybe there's some opportunities to see some underdogs cash on the prelims. So I'll be seeing what ChatGPT says compared to my takes tomorrow around the same time. Let's say 3 p.m. I'll be live and giving you guys more of a breakdown of the prelims. We went over the main card. We both feel good about our picks. We're both on the same page. Are we going to hit or are we going to lose? Stay tuned. Watch party on Saturday, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.